I will say here's the difference because what you said was important. You said, should you be able to use your money to put them in positions to be able to succeed?
Yeah,
that's why
the
you
thing
make
is,
money.
Yes,
and you're
yes, I
absolutely
agree
right.
with
There's a
that.
difference between putting them in a position, say for instance, you know a CEO that can teach them numbers or something like that, or teach them the business, and you go and you say, all right, I want you to go speak to this guy, you learn underneath him, and you versus putting them in a CEO chair.
Right.
That's the difference. Like
Yeah.
you didn't just go and make when you say,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm going to invest in my kid."
Yeah.
For instance, the Master P thing. If he hired that coach to come train his son to play, that's different than saying, "I'm going to use my money and make sure my kid playing in a McDonald's All American game." Even though he's not as good as any of the other kids, and even though he is not putting the work that any of those other kids did, but because I have money and influence, I was able to put him in a position that he did not earn. Versus, I'm going to grab the coach.
He made him a rapper and an entertainer.
Yeah.
Romeo was a damn good entertainer and rapper.
Right.
He literally was right in line with all the other kid stars of his time.
Right.
Right? Like, so Master P did that. He put him in the position to win when it came to music and entertainment. And he made his staple. He stamped himself on the industry. But when it comes to basketball,
he did not earn it at all.
It was like he was
I'm gonna say this though. I'm gonna say this though.
It was like he was trying shit. He don't do nothing now.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say this. You're right in that regard. But I say the market and the people who are consuming that are gonna, like the coach. He has a job. He gets paid million. He gets paid million. Nobody comes in to see that. It's always a business around why. Like even when you know the movie stars or whoever you mentioned, Beyonce, when they're spending money on their children, that's a business play too. Though,
oh yeah, of course. They wanted to see Blue dance.
Right. It's a business play, and you're paying your children. So at the end of the day, there's a play to all that.
That's why I said I understand it. I get it.
Because if I'm a coach, if I'm a world-renowned coach, right, money gonna always make sense. So if I'm a world-renowned coach and you come to me and say, "Hey, look, I'm gonna give you $500,000 to come train my kid to play basketball," I'm gonna come train your kid, tell you your kid sucks at basketball, and collect my $500,000. That's totally different from you come to me and say, "Hey, look, I know you coach that AAU team. I'm gonna give you $500,000, put my son in the starting lineup."
Yeah, but that's AAU though.
But what I'm saying is
we're talking about like Romeo never started an SC game. We never seen Romeo go to the league. We never seen any of that. All I'm saying is that like Blue Ivy, we never seen her at one of the top classes teaching a class.
No,
or we never seen that. What I'm saying is the children like. You have to understand.
I don't really take Blue Ivy being on stage with her mom serious though.
But
even when I say that, hey, look, she didn't get trained. That's just her dancing on stage with her mom. You know what I mean? I don't necessarily take that.
And it was that one or two little routines.
Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, it's not her.
I do think honestly, like if we're being fair, it is a slight to actual performers because they're not wrong with saying
it can't be.
No, listen to what I'm saying. It's a slight to actual performers because most people know how competitive it is to keep up in that realm. Like if you've danced before, if you've been in some form of creative, it's very much so. This round, did you make it? If you didn't make it this round, it's done. It ain't nothing to talk about.
Have a good
Bye.
day.
I don't see it
but
like that.
But I don't see it like that. The only reason why I don't see it, why I don't see it like that though, is because it would be different if, like, because again, it just looked like Blue Ivy's just up there dancing with her mom. It's totally different if you bring Blue Ivy in and says, "All right, you're gonna hit the choreography in a room, and now everybody got to listen to you, Blue Ivy." Then I can see the dancers being like, "You motherfucker, you gonna make her like this bitch don't know three. She don't know how to do a basic 2-step, and you gonna have her come up here and try to run." That's different versus just having her up there dance with her mom.
I take it this way. I take it this way because I'm telling you from real world experience, right? The experience. Let's take it away from celebrities. Right? Let's take the real world experience.
Mm-hmm.
Real world experience is small businesses make up a large amount, right, of the capital that's flowing through America, right? We can all agree with that. Small businesses, right? Mm-hmm. That's only like small business up to like $5 million. $5 million on an annual basis is you're considered a small business, right?
Right.
Small businesses, families, right? I come from one of those. My mom, she had her own business. My dad, he continues to have his own business. When it was time for us to go to work, right, we would go work for the business. But the people who had to actually get hired, right, the people who will put in their resume, have to go in and go through the interview process, it's still competitive, right? Because they need to get a job. They want a job, but I'm already there, right? So they're not looking at it like, oh, that's the sign. He just gonna do this, that, and the third. Especially if I'm just smoking on the job, bullshitting, like, oh, they like, no, the business has to run. It's bigger than me. So if I'm not doing my job, just like if Blue Ivy not really doing her job, she up there tripping, stumbling, falling. Like the children still have to say, I want to do this, and two, like they have to perform. So me personally, I'm not going to just say it's a given. Like, yeah, their parents did their job to set their children up. That's what we're supposed to do as Black, white, any individual that decides to have children. You should want a better life than your child.
Correct.
So me personally, I don't think it's a disregard or a lack to anybody else. That's society. We are in America.
Yeah, it is. And I'm going to tell you how, because we know there are plenty Fortune 500 companies where the children have never went and got no degree. They've never stepped inside of any educational institution, and they don't have any wherewithal of what to do or how it functions. They show up, they get paid, and their name is the name on the building, and they go home.
Decisions, though.
It don't matter.
It does matter.
No, that's not my point. It don't matter, because when you actually have people and you're putting this emphasis on the other people who are coming in that genuinely want to work for your company, genuinely want to help create the culture.
Nobody wants to do that.
You don't know that. Build the environment and create the dynamic to help your business be profitable.
Right.
But you tell me your lazy son of a gun son who just carries your name can be here and they can go slack off and they can point fingers and tell everybody else what to do is more important because they're your child and don't know anything.
That is an outlier.
That's not an outlier. That has happened commonly where people who even when we're talking about
Donald Trump is a prime example of that.
Donald Trump Jr. And even I know you one better.
Who?
Joe Biden, Hunter Biden.
Oh, well.
He worked for his dad. Hunter Biden is a functional, I ain't even gonna say functional.
No.
He's a hardcore addict, bro.
Crackhead.
He does nothing. And the government is writing. It's not normal. And that is the problem. You're coming from a privileged ideal because you're already saying that you were able to go and work for your family business.
Right.
That's not the regular average day Black American. Most Black Americans didn't have their own business.
But the people you name aren't Black though. You just name Hunter Biden, you name white, and you name white families.
I named them people because you said that's an anomaly, and it's not an anomaly. We're telling you we see it all the time. Right. I'm telling you, I currently work in an industry where there are people who are like, oh, this is my wife's brother-in-law. That's common. They don't do anything. You're telling me on my paperwork, I have to have all these credentials. Mm-hmm. And when I go in here, I got to look the part, act the part, dress the part, and it's got to match that paperwork. But because that is your wife's brother-in-law, he came in, got the job because of you. That does make a huge difference, and it happens often. And nepotism can be beneficial, but it's a slap in the face when a person has actually done the work.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
But it's going to exist regardless.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but here in America, that's pretty much like that's
one of the fabric.
Well, it used to be a time though where, for instance, I guarantee in your family, how often did you work in your family business as a kid for free?
We ain't never worked for free. There's nothing for free.
What I mean is that when you walked up in there, you had to sweep the shop up, and nobody paid you. They just said go sweep the shop up. Yeah, or they told you come carry these boxes.
Paid. Like that's what I'm saying. Like sometimes we may get paid. Like we make like on a busy season, but at the end of the day, it's the family shop. This is how we bring in money. This is part of the family. But that's what I mean by that is that I mean by that though is that there used to be a time where that's how family businesses grew, and that's why nobody had a problem seeing Lil Timmy grow up to become the owner of the shop and grow up to become the manager, is because the entire time while I was busting tables, I've been watching Lil Timmy back there sweeping and being under his dad his entire life. Yeah. So when he finally grew up to be able to take over,
it made sense.
It made sense for him to become my boss. Versus now, the kid, you don't see that person 3 ways from Sunday through the entire team. You've been at the business. You ain't never seen this kid in this room.
And they come in and you train them to be
you train them to take your position.
Manager.
Yes.
And that happens all the time nowadays. People will train other people.
Yes.
And that's how a lot of businesses fail too.
But
It is a lot of businesses fail.
That's how a lot of businesses fail, because if you see your child, right? If I had a son, daughter, if I had a child and I grow a multi-million, billion-dollar business, and I'm like, okay, cool, you're gonna be next up if they want to. If that's not what they see, I'm not gonna put them in a position. But what I will do is put them on payroll. Why? Because I cannot take that business with me. We all know businesses do have life cycles, but at the end of the day, businesses are infinite. They really aren't going to fail unless you don't put people, to your point, in position to keep the business life cycle to continue. I'm not going to disagree with that. But guess what? Every business, Wells Fargo, Chase Bank, those are families.
Yeah.
That's a family business in a trust fund. That's why the trust fund, baby, is a thing. So I'm not going to build this business up for my family to take us from nothing to something, especially being out here in America, and not put my children on.
I don't care.
I would put my children on.
I don't care if you put your kid on payroll. If you pay your kid just for the sake of paying your kid, that's different.
You're missing the point.
That's different from paying your kid to run.
No, we're talking about work ethic, and
that's different from paying your kid to run the business. And now your kid is here making decisions for the business that they're not qualified for, but I'm qualified to make a decision.
That's where I got the problem.